go see him, they come out, they'd speak about the issue. Well, I took Robert Kraft there. We were on vacation, myself, Robert, and his girlfriend and mine.
Rob Kraft, let's go to jail right fast.
So Meek call, Meek would call every day, and so Meek would call, and you hear the crazy recording, calling from, SCI Chester, you hear the whole prison recording.
Mm-hmm.
And Robert knew Meek well for me. Like, we'd been on vacation together once before. They'd hung out multiple times. I said, Robert, you ought to really come see him with me, man. And he said, Michael, I want to go see him. This is like he was living through the thing with me every single day. Because Robert, I talked to Robert 5 times a day. He's like, Meek, I got a question for you. He's like, last time we were together, we were on a private plane with a bunch of girls flying to Miami. You were on the top of the world. You're now sitting in an orange jumpsuit, and you're still smiling from ear to ear. I don't get it. Like he said, if it were me, I'd be so mad. How are you happy? Meek sat there. He thought about it for like a minute. He said, Robert, I've been sent to prison 3 times for never committing a crime. This is my entire life. I've been in and out of this thing my entire life. This is the first time. People are fighting for me. You're here to see me today. Michael's been here 20 times. There's a crusade to free Meek. This is the first time that's happened. I did a concert without permission. I got sent to jail. I did any little thing I did, I got sent to jail. So how can I not be happy right now? And we walked out and Rob was like, this is such an amazing guy. Like, how's this guy's attitude so good? So, for me,
this is his purpose, though. Like sometimes things happen to you so God can work through you. So
I agree.
This is his purpose, man.
I agree. And by the way, we talk it's funny because our relationship changed a lot because up until he went to prison, it was all just fun. There was there was nothing
shallow, superficial.
Yeah, it wasn't superficial. We were just guys being fun.
Right.
Going to games, going on trips, partying, doing fun shit. That was it. Now it's like it's 10% that. It's 90% like what are we doing with reform? It's changed like a more serious relationship, but it's like
It's made him a better everything though. It's made him a better man. It's made him a better artist.
And me, by the way. I mean, this guy. You asked me the question about the 2 Americas. We had this debate. It went on forever. It started that night at the Sixers game when we were talking about when I asked him if he wanted to go to Bugatti. It's like, Michael, there's 2 Americas. I would say to him, dude, shut up. Like, we live in one great country.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're killing it. Stop whining. Like, you're like so many people dream of being in your situation. He's like, you don't get it. And the good thing with Meek, he's like me. He's not like, you can't really offend him.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not like, we'd say dumb shit to each other and we'd be playing around. But he'd always, we had this debate. It went on forever. And we'd have this, I remember we were actually in Vegas that trip I was talking about, and one of his friends was killed. And he said to me, like, this is the 2 Americas I tell you about. And it was one of the first times I started to compute, kind of compute in my brain, because here we're just having fun, and I'm getting a phone call from my daughter, he's getting a phone call that one of his friends was killed.
Right.
And, but he always told me about it. And literally, so they took him to prison probably like 6 o'clock, 6:30 on a Monday night on November 6th, 2017. My phone rings an hour later. And it was like from a unknown number. I never pick my phone up because I don't think it's not in my phone. But like maybe it's because I was calling everyone in like a hysterical mode. And it's Meek. I pick up the phone. I'm like, hello? He's like, yo, Mike. I'm like, Meek? Then you hear the prison recording. He's like, I told you so. I'm like, what? He's like, I told you so. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, I told you there are 2 Americas. It was like literally is the first thing he wants to say to me. Literally, he's been taking it for the first thing he wants to do is, I told you so.
Right.
I was right, you were wrong. I later said to him, you're right. I was 100% wrong. You were 100% right.
What kind of pushback do you get because of your allegiance with Meek, but also going so hard against prison reform?
He has to leave in 5 minutes too. So
okay, because prison reform is big business. So a lot of people might think you're trying to mess up their money.
Here's the thing: in the beginning, everyone was against. Everyone was against what we were. Like, I had so many people call me in the beginning say, like, don't get involved with this. Mm-hmm. It's going to be bad for your reputation. I'm like, I don't care.
Right.
Like, literally, I didn't care. I'm running 3 private companies. No one can do anything to me. Like I can't not.
And what's bad for your reputation about fighting an unjust system?
I think people
are stepping on people's. And listen, I think you're right. People, yeah, but you're stepping on people's money. Private prison's a big business, and you're one of those big business guys. There's got to be calls behind the scenes like, Mike, come on.
I didn't get those calls at all. The calls I did get was the people who believe the media that you talked about. Mm-hmm. Is this not a good guy? But I knew him so well. I knew he was a guy to back.
You were spreading the truth.
Right. So for me, I didn't care what anyone. I mean, people would say to me, whatever they wanted. I just said I don't care.
Right. I know him personally, and
he's one of my closest friends. I don't care what you have to say. Like, I'm not stopping till he's out of prison and she's down.
Now, what's your Kevin Hart story? You said you had a great Kevin Hart story.
Oh well, Kevin Hart. So he comes to. So we were the Sixers in the playoffs. It's closeout night. We're playing And so I take Kevin to go see Meek, and I said to Meek, like, like they spent a couple hours together. Actually, it was the first time I actually went through the whole prison. I'd always been in different rooms to see him. This time they're like, we want to show you the prison, and we walk around. It's like I'm just walking around the general population of the prison, getting a hell of an education. So we're finishing up, and Kevin made some joke because Kevin's pretty good at making jokes, as we know. And Meek, yeah. And Meek says, I'm never getting out of this place. I said, bro, maybe we get out tonight. He's like, Michael, stop fucking saying that. I'm never getting out of here. I said, bro, maybe you're going to be at our game tonight. He says, that is never, ever, ever happening. Okay? So now it's 2 o'clock. We leave. I go back to my office. It's now 4 o'clock. People come running to my office. The Supreme Court just ordered his release. Wow. I'm like, so now it's game. By the way, it's their closeout game for to play the Heat. It's 2 hours after I left after he said he's never getting out of there. The Supreme Court rightfully finally orders his release, and I can't even get in touch with him because it's not like I can call him.
Right. Be like, okay. I told you.
Right. And so I called Kevin. Kevin's like, it was all me. It was all me. I got him out. But anyway, we go, and what's become a legendary story now. I was just going to drive and go pick him up, and he had always said to me 50 times, like, I keep having this dream. You land in the helicopter and you pick me up in prison. Like, he's this dream he always had.
Right.
And I'm like, I didn't want to, I'm just like, it's not that much further by, car. And his guy said, you got to pick him up in the heli. You got to pick him up in the heli. So, complete coincidence, my partner, the main owner of the Sixers, Josh Harris, owns the casino directly across the street. So, somehow they figure it out. They make arrangements. Literally 10 minutes later, we're at the prison. And sure enough, we pick him up. And by the way, the judge was trying to not release him that night. She would not sign the paperwork because there was no bail, but they didn't put zero in the amount, so she was trying to hold him overnight. I'm like, he is getting out tonight. We're winning this game. So literally, we pick him up. We fly to the game. He goes in. He's literally, as everyone knows, I mean, this guy's in his prison clothes, running down into through the tunnel, into the locker room, high-fiving everyone. Someone comes and shaves him, brings him some clothes, and then we win the game, and we're on to the next round.
What's the Kev story?
The Kev story is him being in prison when Meek is saying, I'm never getting out of here. Kevin's like, have a good attitude. The whole thing. He was part of the whole conversation.
It was because of him.
Right. But the crazy thing with Kevin was like, we were all there, and Meek is literally, I'm never getting out of here. And 2 hours later, he's getting out of there.
Now, before you leave, you got to tell us about Reform. What initiatives is Reform Alliance launching or planning to launch?
Yeah, so Reform, obviously the idea came from everything that we've talked about today, and certainly beyond over needed. We're going to focus 100% on probation and parole. And the reason is there's 6.7 million people in the criminal justice system today. 4.5 million are on probation and parole. Okay? So it's 2/3 of the system, but it's the part of the system that people really haven't focused on. And if you think about it, it's what stalked Meek's entire life. Right. So you go back to this 1 in 7 billion. Here's a guy who should have never been in that situation, who, to your point, I think his purpose was probably to be in this situation.
Correct.
And so we want to really fix the probation and parole laws and rules. So we're going to go state by state and work to get laws that make sense. And look, like Jay-Z said at our press conference last week, and like I've said 100 times, and Meek said, there are a lot of people that belong in prison. But you need the crime and the time to kind of fit each other. And to me, I think of the 4.5 million people on probation and parole, I think you could cut that number in half and have communities equally safe. And so we want to keep communities equally safe, both dramatically reduce the people in the criminal justice population. And we've set a goal which people have dedicated his life to kind of,
I wanted to show y'all all of this.